So, how's it guys? If you ever thought about buying and selling cars, then this video is just for you. So, first thing you need to know about buying and selling cars is that it has a lot of streams and subcategories. One of them is flipping cars, dealing with non-runners, as well as rebuilding cars. We're going to be talking about all three of those streams. There's even more, but for today, we're just going to be talking about those three streams and subcategories. Let's talk about it. So before we even get into the video, I'm going to be showing you why exactly I always sell my vehicles so cheap as you can see them on my Facebook marketplace. I'm going to be explaining to you on how to get the competitive advantage. First one we're going to be talking about today is flipping cars. Flipping cars is one of the most easiest thing to do when it comes to buying and selling cars, because if you're flipping a car, it means that you're going to be putting the least amount of effort on that vehicle. It's just a matter of buying the vehicle and also getting a better price for the vehicle. So you'll do the least amount of work. That could be maybe just an auto valet, as well as some touch-ups on the vehicle, or just the least amount of work. Flipping cars just entails buying a car for X amount and selling it at a profit. Now, when you're buying and flipping cars, the profit on those is minimal because you do minimal work on those as well. So sometimes it will happen that you'll get a vehicle for a lakh and you might find that the profit margin is much greater. All right. So the best places to find cars for flipping in most cases is auction houses. Some of the auction houses that you can use to find these vehicles is places like Birchmore's, SMD, Arcos, and all other different auction houses. Now, in order to try and at least enjoy what you are doing when it comes to buying and selling vehicles, the number one thing is that you shouldn't stay with a vehicle for a very long time. So I use my method, which is the Facebook marketplace value. I try by all means that if I'm flipping a car, I always make sure that my vehicle that I'm selling is the cheapest on Facebook marketplace. That makes sure that my vehicle goes quickly, because in most cases people are looking for the cheapest vehicle to buy. And also, if your vehicle is the cheapest, you attract other people that are also buying and selling. So as you're attracting other people that are buying and selling, that means that your stuff will go much quicker. So if your vehicle is the cheapest on Facebook Marketplace, that means that you don't have one target market of a person that's just looking for a vehicle. Your target market is two people. So it's dealers and it's also some person that's looking for a vehicle. So you have somebody that's looking for something to invest in so that he can also flip, and it's somebody that is also trying to find a vehicle that he can use and keep in the long run. One other place which is really good to find cars for flipping is by mechanics workshops. A lot of clients that are fixing their vehicles just want to get rid of their vehicles and they're really tired of them, and sometimes they've just caused them a lot of headaches. So getting vehicles from workshops as well, speaking to workshop managers and workshop owners, having a healthy relationship with them, they can always let you know if they have a client that wants to let go of their vehicle, and you can just always be on standby and always be on call to receive that vehicle. In essence, flipping cars is quite easy. You can do that as a side hustle because flipped cars require the least amount of work and the least amount of investment. You just have to be a little bit patient and you need to know what you are doing. When I say you know what you are doing, do not be gullible. See what how much that particular vehicle you want to buy is selling for on Facebook Marketplace. Maybe let's say it's selling for 30,000. So try and at least get the vehicle for at least maybe 20,000 rand. Once you've gotten for 20,000 rand, you know that you can try to sell it for 25,000 rand. So you make that little extra 5,000 rand, and somebody else who's also flipping has that leeway of making from 25 to 30. So you just have to try and keep the ball rolling at all times. So in closing about flipping cars, it's a very easy thing to do. It requires the least amount of work. That's something that you can try and do in the new year to maybe compensate your income that you've got. So next, we're going to be talking about dealing with non-runners. This is one of my favorites. This is what I do the most. Dealing with non-runners is very tricky, but this is the one that I enjoy. It is a challenge. So if you're thinking of dealing with non-runners, just listen up. So when it comes to dealing with non-runners, this is very tricky, and you have to calculate everything that you do when it comes to buying non-runners. The worst place that you can buy a non-runner from is Facebook. Never go there. So the places that I normally buy my non-runners from is auction houses, the ones that you guys always see on my TikTok and my YouTube. So when you are buying a car that is a non-runner, what I do and always works for me is that you always anticipate the worst case scenario. If you are doing it that way, that will save you a lot of money. So let's say you're thinking of buying a Polo Vivo. Since you are thinking of buying a Polo Vivo, you see that, okay, it's being sold for 20,000 Rand. So always have the worst in mind. If a vehicle is a non-runner, that means that the engine is not running. It could be something small or it could be something big. So what I like to always do before buying that non-runner, if I see that this Polo Vivo is being sold for 20,000 Rand, I will go to my local scrapyard dealer or engine dealer and find out how much is an engine for a Polo Vivo. If they tell me that the engine is 15,000, I already know that my cost is sitting at 20,000 to buy the car and 15,000 to get an engine. As I say, you save yourself a lot of disappointment if you anticipate the worst case scenario. Don't bid high looking at the vehicle's condition on the exterior, thinking that the vehicle is fresh, whereby the engine might be kaput and you might need a new motor. So it's always best to anticipate the worst case scenario. So if you got an engine for 15,000 and we got a car, the Vivo is being sold for 20,000, I already know that my cost is sitting at 35,000, and at least I can try and sell this vehicle for a minimum of about 50,000 Rand. So I can already see that gap and that profit margin. So if you are not going to be basically doing the mechanical work on your vehicle, it helps to have a healthy and a very good relationship with the mechanic, so that he doesn't knock you a lot. So most of the guys that buy and sell vehicles that I know and deal with, normally we have a great relationship with them. I cannot charge them the same amount of money that I charge regular clients because they are running a business and they come more frequently, maybe 3 times a month for engine overhauls or engine replacements. So you build a relationship and you end up getting better prices from your mechanic. So in conclusion about dealing with non-runners, that is the one that I actually prefer the most because you tend to come across a lot of lucks. So sometimes you buy a non-runner, and as you anticipated the worst, you find that the problem is very small, just like the Hyundai i20 that I gave away. I bought that car as a non-runner, and the problem was just the coil packs. So the car ended up being very cheap, and the guy that I gave it away to was really happy, and he's still using the car, and the car is still running till to date. So dealing with non-runners is actually where the money is at if you are targeting to try and make a lot of money. Also as well, there is a lot of disappointments. That's why I always say anticipate the worst by ensuring that the money that you buy the car with will be able to leave a little room to replace the engine if need be. Now, last category that we're going to be talking about is rebuilding cars. So now when you talk about rebuilding cars, these are the cars that are normally smashed. So the smashed cars, those you also normally get them at auction houses. So with those ones, you have to be real close friends with panel beaters because you are normally going to be just sending it for panel work, buying a lot of panel stuff. But also with those, a lot of people don't like cars that are rebuilt. A lot of people don't like cars that have got an accident history. So yeah, with those ones, I tend to try and stay away from rebuilding cars, smashed cars. It helps, and it's okay if you're doing that yourself, if you got a panel shop yourself. However, you can do it if you have a good and reliable panel beater. But I say when it comes to buying and selling cars, the best thing to do is to flip cars as well as dealing with non-runners. You know that you're buying a car with a very good exterior, the shell is good, everything is 100%. The problem is only the motor or suspension. All right, I hope this was helpful to you guys. If you all have got any other questions with buying and selling cars, please comment down below. I'd love to help you. It's the festive holidays. I've got a lot of time on my hands, and I'd love to give you guys a lot of information, since a lot of people ask me about buying and selling cars, since it's one of the things that I do a lot. Sharp.